To promote the show, Universal struck a deal with many brands to make Buck Rogers merchandise. For role-playing type toys, Universal made a deal with HG Toys, and they released the Buck Rogers and Twiggy Communicator. What was just a cheap walkie-talkie, a dish-shooting Twiggy, and a utility belt. On the back of the box was cut-out targets. They also released the Galactic Playset, what was a playmat with Army-style Buck Rogers figures and ships. The single flasher Twiggy robot was also released. And the other toy from HG Toys was a Buck Rogers helmet that came with a small starship and an official pin. For the more cheap rack-type toys, Universal went with Fleetwood Toys, who would produce a fire rocket that had little to do with Buck Rogers other than the card art on the package. A flying spaceship would also be in the line, a kaleidoscope rocket, and a very festive laser light pistol. They would also release one space communicator. Yep, you heard me right, just one. With no batteries required, I'm not really sure what this thing did other than making a few beeping sounds. As for the action figures, those rights went to Mego. The company that turned down Star Wars a few years earlier wasn't about to let another science fiction masterpiece out of their hands. They released two different lines. The 12-inch line would have 7 figures. Buck Rogers himself, Dr. Heuer, Draco, Draconian Guard, Killer Kane, Tiger Man, and a walking Twiggy.
The Starfighter and Buck Rogers.
Okay, Kane, get ready to fight.
Meet Kane and the Draconian Marauder.
They also released a 3.75 figure line. Those figures in that line was Ardella, Buck Rogers, Dr. Heuer, Draco, Draconian Guard, Killer Kane, Tiger Man, Twiggy, and Wilma Deering. Also, a line of vehicles were released for the smaller line. The Draconian Marauder, Land Rover, Laser Scope Fighter, and a Starfighter. Also released was a playset, the Starfighter Command Center. Overall, the 12-inch line looked really well done, at least for the time period. But this was a time where kids were moving away from the 12-inch doll-like size. For the 3.75 Mego line, they went with a more articulated body, much like G.I. Joe would use a few years later. But these figures were poorly made. The rubber band holding the waist and legs together would often break off, leaving a lot of kids with Buck Rogers action figures missing legs. The figures looked cheap, at least compared to Star Wars that was dominating the toy aisles at the time. Due to low sales, Mego decided not to do a Series 2 in 1980, leaving kids without an action figure of Hulk. Even if they're not the best looking action figures, a lot of kids did love them, and today they have a high retail value on the secondary market,